Hello friends, once again now we are here to check out the concepts on classes. Now we have entered into the classes concept, and this I hope this is going to be very interesting. So please drop comments in the section below if you have got any doubts, or else you can approach me at any point. Okay, so now here we are starting with the class. So what is a class? A class describes so many things. So it describes your abstraction, it describes your inheritance, it accommodates your polymorphism. Class is everything. Basically, class contains your data members and your member methods. But in this basic class here, we can see a concept being described here. So imagine a box. A box can be your geometry box, or else a box shaped eraser, or your sharpener, or any kind of a box with the 3D view. So imagine such kind of a box, and if you are having that kind of a box, then the box is going to have its width, height and depth. A class we will try to describe the box concept. So here, as we have been discussing, this class box can be described with three parameters, that is with width, height and depth. As we can describe any pen or any eraser with its different parameters or different descriptions, here the class box has been described with its width, height and depth. Now the next thing is choosing a suitable data type for that. The height, depth and width may be measured in terms of fractional values. Maybe width may be some 3.6 centimeters, height may be 3 centimeters, depth may be 2.5 centimeters. So suitably we will definitely get or come across the fractional numbers. So the double is the biggest data type which can hold the fractional values. So the double is chosen as the data type. So this is just the programmer's view of explaining how does a box looks like. So now the concept of box ends here. From now onwards, or else you will see any example you get from the internet or from a standard textbook, you will see at least two classes. One class will try to describe the concept being explained here, for example box, and another class which is going to do some operations on that, like calculate its volume, its area and so on. One class is going to describe the concept, okay, any real-time object, and another class is going to call methods on that particular concept. So this is the basic idea of how the programs will go from now on. So now we will try to understand what exactly is happening inside the box demo. So here the box demo is the class which is calling this main function or main method, to be very exactly. In the previous videos we have seen how we can create or allocate a memory for an array. Very similar to that, here through the line numbers 11 to 15 we are having this class concept. Merely the class description like this will not occupy any memory. The instance created to that class, that is the instance created to this box, that is my box, it is this my box object which is going to occupy your memory, okay. Now in this line number 19 we will in this line number 19 we will try to create an object for this class box with the name my box. In the line number 20 we are having this dynamic variable double volume, which is going to hold the volume of that particular box, that is my box. So we will try to understand this line number 19 in depth, because every Java program will now from now on will contain a class, at least one class, followed by the object being created for those class. So my dear friends, so I want you to concentrate on line number 19 here. Line number 19, in the left hand side we have box, my box, and in the right hand side we have new box. So first let me talk about line number 19's left hand side, that is box, my box. What is this box actually doing in my program? So as we can see from line number 11 till line number 15, box is a class, my dear friends. Box is a class, and to the class we declare objects, right? So to the class we can declare objects. So in line number 19 we have box, my box. So what is this my box? My box becomes an object to the class box. So what's the difference between having an object and having a variable? A variable becomes a single entity. You should always treat it like variable being a single entity. For example, we have got in the line number 20 double volume. Double volume. Volume is one variable. Volume is one variable, but my box is an object. An object can be collection of so many things, but variable can be one single entity. There cannot be any other value associated with this volume, right? But in my box is an instance using which I can access width, height and depth. Okay, now let's try to go deeper here. This is about the left hand side. So what is my box? My box is an object of type box, but right now just by mere writing box, my box, memory will not be allocated to it. So now in order to allocate memory, how much memory? The big amount of memory suitable to hold everything I find within the box. So that's why here we have got in the right hand side new box. What is this new box is going to do? New is going to create your memory dynamically, that much memory necessary to create a box. When we say create a box, everything within the box needs to be allocated memory. That means 3 double variables needs to be allocated their memory. So imagine every time when you create an object to the box, you imagine like you are holding a box in your hand. Okay, if you create 10 objects, you should imagine 10 boxes in front of you. If you create 3 objects for box, you should imagine 3 boxes in front of you. When I say 3 boxes, it means that every box is going to have its own size, that is width, height and depth. Okay, so now let's go to line number 20. So what is this line number 20? Line number 20 creates a variable of type volume, or variable by the name volume of type double. Okay, now let's try to assign some values to this width, height and depth using the instance my box. So now, since this is the beginning of the class concept inside or in the Java class, so I will from in this video and also in the next video I will try to explain every line here so that we can move faster in subsequent videos. So in line number 22 I have my box dot width equals to 10. So now let's understand this left hand side. What is my box doing in my program? My box is an object to the box which is created in the line number 19. So what can I do with this object? Using the dot operator, I can use depth, height and width using that particular object. So now what does this line number 22's left hand side says? What is my box? My box is an object, and then we have a dot operator. What is width? Width is one of the member of the class box, of class box. What is object? Object is the what is my box? My box is the object of the class box. What is width? Width is the member of the same class, that is box. Now to the box my box, its width gets the unit, gets the width, 10 units. Similarly, my box height is set to 20 and then my box depth is set to 15. Okay, now you should imagine you have got a box in your hand and that box width is 10 units, that box height is 20 units, and that box depth is 15 units. That's how you are going to understand. Now to compute its volume, so how do I compute the volume? I'm going to multiply or find the product of, I'm going to multiply width, height and depth. I cannot simply write width into height into depth because width, height and depth are members of the class box. If you want to touch any member of the class box, then you must create an object for that, right? So now my box dot depth, my box dot depth into my box dot height into my box dot width. So these three parameters are going to give me the volume of that particular box, my box, and in the next line I'm trying to print the volume of the my box. So now let's try to execute this one. So if you want to execute the file in front of you, then you should give Shift F6. Okay, now it is being calculated. Now it says volume is 3000. Of course 10 into 20 is 200, 200 into 15 is 3000. Now since we have used double as the data type for this width, height and depth, so now let's give some fractional values to it. So now let's try to run. So there was no necessity to add these values, but since it's double, I'm just showing you the output of the same. So volume is so and so. So in this example you should get a couple of questions. So I will come to the questions now. Now we have been learning public, private, protected under the heading access specifiers. Now as per our object orientation knowledge we have got from C++, once we don't specify any access specifier here, automatically it is treated as private. So with that concept, width, height and depth are expected to be private. Then if those are private, then how am I able to access them outside that class? It's a big question to understand here. So now the question is, these three are private variables according to my C++ knowledge. If those are private, then how can they be accessed here? And we didn't see any error also. Okay, so now it's time to bring you the fourth kind of access specifier in Java, which is default. That access specifier is, my dear friends, that is called as package private. That is called as package private. In Java, if you don't specify any access specifier, then the access specifier associated with that variable or that object or that entity is package private. Then it means that within the package it is accessible throughout any particular class. So here, so this is very premature to explain you the packages, so I may do that within after maybe 1 or 2 classes, but what you have to understand now is the basic access specifier and the default access specifier in Java is package private. So now whenever something is package private, then it becomes private to the package in which it is declared. So I'll come back to this statement again, but right now you please keep this in mind that if you don't give an access specifier, then it becomes private to the package. So I'll handle one more session solely dedicated on different access specifications. Till that time you need to understand this as package private. Okay, now the next concept to understand here is we don't have any complex constructors included within this particular program. So now let's try to do that. So this was the basic example which shows the creation of a class, followed by creating an object to the class, followed by using their members. So now let's go to one more example. So what do we have here? So here the only difference what we see from the previous and this example is we are having two objects here. So we are having the same class. The class is box1. See, I cannot have two classes of the same name within a package. So I'm having the different name to this class, but it's the same box class. So my difference, so the name of this class is box1 and it's having three parameters: width, height and depth. And now we have this box demo2 name of the class, and then this is the main method, this is the command line arguments. So if any command lines arguments are specified, then that is captured using this args. Now comes the most important thing. So now I want you to imagine a few concepts here. So in the last example I told you, whenever we create an object, so you have to imagine one box in front of you. Similarly, now we have got two instances to the class box1. So when I say instances, instance can be interchangeably used with your object. Either it can be an object or an instance, no issues at all. The name of the class is box1. Okay, then followed by my box1 is the object name, my box2 is object name. So there are two objects here. Now in the right hand side I have got new box1. I have got two objects. Both the objects are going to have memory equivalent to your box1. So what are the things to be included within the box1? So we have got three double variables: width, height and depth. So memory necessary to accommodate all those three variables are allocated to both my box1 and my box2. Now you have to imagine two boxes in front of you. Okay, that means two different widths, two different heights, two different depths when given different values. Now we have got the same volume double, which is going to store our volume. Line number 25, 26, 27 is going to assign values to my box1.width. As you can see here, we have got two objects. In these line number 25, 26, 27, I am trying to give values to width, height and depth of first box, that is my box1. Okay, my box1. Now my box1 width, height and depth gets the value 10, 20 and 15. Very similarly, my box2 width, height and depth gets another three set of values, that is 3, 6 and 9. 3, 6 and 9. So imagine two boxes, one with values 10, 20, 15. You need to imagine another box with the values 3, 6 and 9. Now in the line number 34, I am trying to calculate the volume of the first box. So what are the parameters of the first box? That is width, height and depth with values 10, 20 and 15. My box1 dot width, height and depth. So this is going to calculate the volume of the first box, and then here I'm going to print the volume is. So I'll add one more useful message here. Volume of my box1 is. Okay, so that should be more easy to understand. Volume of my box2 is. Okay, so now here volume contains the volume of the first box, and line number 37 calculates the volume of the second box, and line number 38 prints the same. So now let's try to look at the output. Volume of the first box is 3000 units, and volume of the second box, that is my box2, is 162 units. So my dear friends, in this example we have seen how two objects can be created, and using its name correctly, that is my box1, my box1, my box1 here, followed by box2, box2, box2 here, we can clearly differentiate between the parameters of two different boxes. So in the next example we will see one more concept using your box class. So now this is another box which is having a method within the class. Okay, so now in the previous example we saw class boxes with width, height and depth. In this example we will see the same class having the volume method. So in the last example, in the main method we used to calculate the volume, but here a method has been added within the class box 3. Okay, fine. So the box names are same actually, but as I have told you, within the package I cannot have the boxes with the same name, so that's why we have box 3 here, box demo 3. Now box 3, my box 1, my box 2. So now you should imagine the same two boxes. Imagine what we have imagined in the last example. Now here two objects are there, my box 1 and my box 2. So once again, my dear friends, I will not hesitate to once again, this is object creation. This is going to create a name of that particular object. In the right hand side it's going to create memory for that, and this is equal to is going to assign the memory allocated here to the box name my box 1. Similarly here box 3, my box 2. My box 2 is the name of the object, but memory is allocated here. After allocating memory, box 3, my box 2 is going to point to that particular memory. So this is a complete line to create or allocate memory for the objects. So very similar to the last example, here width, height and depth have been initialized for my box 1, that is first object. Similarly, width, height and depth for the second object is also initialized here. In the last example we calculated volume here in the main method, but in this example we have got a separate method for doing the same task within the box class. So here we have got void volume method. Volume is the name of the method, void is the return type. It is not going to return anything, it is going to display the message, display the value here itself. Let's see how we are going to call that one. See here in the line number 29, 30, 31, what is this actually? My box 1 is the object name, width is the member name. Similarly, my box 1 is the object name, volume is the member name. Here member is the method. So you should imagine my box 1 with the width, height and depth as 10, 20, 15, and you are going to calculate that box's volume here, that box's volume. Now my box 1 dot volume, the control is expected to transfer here. Now what are all the parameters of my box 1? My box 1 is having the parameters of 10, 20 and 15. That is different width, height and depth of this particular my box 1 is 10, 20, 15. Those 10, 20, 15 are being multiplied here because it depends upon with which object you are going to call that method, right? You are going to call that using my box 1, my box values are going to be multiplied. You are going to call with my box 2, my box 2's values are going to be multiplied. So in this example I am calling with my box 1. So 10 into 20 into 15, 10 into 20 is 200, 200 into 15, that is 2000 plus 1000, 3000 shall be the answer, and the same thing is printed here. Now control once again jumps back here. My box 2 volume, what is my box 2? My box 2 is an object with height, width and depth with the values 3, 6 and 9. Those 3, 6 and 9 are going to be multiplied here. 3, 6 are 18 and 89 are whatever is that value is multiplied. So now let's check out this output here. Volume is 3000 for the first box and the volume is 162 units for the second box. So as you can see, my dear friends, how step by step in this complete reference textbook the author has tried to explain you with an empty box, with one object, with the two object, and with a class with the data members and member methods. So in this textbook we have to really appreciate the way the author has tried to bring out the concepts for you. So now I hope you have understood this one. Let's move on to the next example. So now let's see What exactly is a new thing available in this particular class? Fine. So here in this method, the only difference what you can notice is the value is being returned here. In the last example, in the previous example, we calculated the value here and we already used println to print the same value, right? So now instead of printing the value here, we are going to return it to the main method. That's the only difference. So please, I will not hesitate. So please concentrate here. So what is this class? The name of this class is box4, which has got three parameters, that is three what are these, the properties, that is width, height and depth, and it has got a member function or member method, whatever you want to call. The member method is the volume. What this volume is going to do, volume is going to multiply width, height and depth of a box. Which box? It depends upon which object you are going to use. Okay, now box demo 4. So this is all about the class box, and here the box demo 4. So we have got two boxes, my box 1, my box 2. So my box 1 and my box 2 are the two values or two objects to the class box 4. Okay, so here object creation, here the memory allocation, and is equal to is going to link them both. From now onwards, my box 2 is going to point to the memory which can hold width, height and depth of box 4, right? Okay, my box 1, using my box 1, I am going to assign values to width, height and depth. My box 1 dot width, 1 dot height, 1 dot width, depth. Okay, very fine. Very similarly, we have got the second object, my box 2, height, width and depth, with the three values 3, 6 and 9. Okay, so now comes the boy here. So right hand side, what do we have at the right hand side? Right, the right hand side we have got my box 1. What is my box 1? My box 1 is the object. What is volume? Volume is the member of the class box 4. My box 1 is the object to the my box box 4. Volume is the object to the class box 4. So now my box 1 dot volume can happen. When you call this volume method with my box 1 object, then you should imagine these three values, because these are the height, width and depth of my box 1. Okay, now we will go to this volume method. So width, height and depth of my box 1 will be multiplied here, that is 10, 20 into 15, 10 into 20 into 15. So that value is calculated and that value is returned here. Since three doubles are being multiplied, since three double values are being multiplied, the resultant value is also expected to be a double. Hence, the double is used. Or else, if you don't know what is the value, just simply give the double, because it's the biggest fractional data type we are having, so it can hold anything, right? Now the double, what that value 3000 is being returned. So that value is returned to this variable. Where have we declared this variable? Yes, here. Now here volume is going to hold my box 1's volume, which has come from volume method, right? Okay, so now volume of my box 1 is, so the volume is displayed. Now my box 2 dot volume. What is my box 2? My box 2 is also a box with width, height and depth as 3, 6 and 9. My box 2 dot volume, my box 2 dot volume, that is your object is my box 2 dot volume. Volume is the method. Come back here. So here width into height into depth will happen. What is that? 3 into 6 into 9. Hopefully maybe 162 as per my remembrance. So that value is returned here. Once again, double into double into double should result in a double, and since we are returning a double is written in the return type. So that volume returned by your volume method is stored in, or is copied, or it is assigned to the volume variable, and then the volume of that my box 2 is displayed. Volume of my box 2 is shall be displayed here, 162. So the main difference between the previous example and this example is that in the previous example we didn't return any value from the class to the main method, right? There itself we printed the value, but here that small modification has been done where we are going to return the value. Let's get to the next example, box demo 5. So now let's see what's going on here. So here we have got the set dimension method. Okay, very easy one to understand here. So now let's go to the box. What is this box 5? Box 5 is the same box we have been using. It has got 3 members, that is width, height and depth, and it also has this volume method. Once you call that with an object of class box 5, it's going to multiply width, height and width depth of that particular object. Okay, we will come to this set dimension. Okay, what is this set dimension? Please notice here my dear friends, where your class is ending, where your method is ending. So your class started at line number 11, right? Okay, this is volume method. Okay, class is not over yet, so this is another method within the class, that is set dim, meaning set dimension. Okay, and here your class ends, my dear friends. Here our class ends. So let me just shrink this particular code. We don't want a blank space here, so that we can bring that main method. Okay, fine. So here we have got box demo 5, the same 2 boxes, my box 1, my box 2. Here object creation, your memory allocation. The memory allocated is linked with this object, my box 1. Once again, follow with me. What is this? Object creation. This is your memory allocation, and the allocated memory is assigned to this created object, that is my box 2, and one variable, double variable, that is volume. Now comes my box 1 dot set dim. So in the last 4 examples, what did we do? So let me show you. We assigned the values here. Okay, so we assigned the values here, but instead of assigning here, in the present example we are going to use another method for that. See, what this is trying to do is, this is trying to give modularity to your program. That means the suitable program, the best way to understand any program or to write any program is to differentiate tasks done by different methods. See, main method should be usually kept for object creation and method calling only. Don't do any kind of process there. Okay, you create methods for that, so that abstraction is being followed here. Okay, now my box 1 dot set dim, so I'll call it as set dimension. Using set dim method, we are trying to pass 3 values, 10, 20 and 15. These 10, 20 and 15 are being passed to set dim W, H and D. In the same order, W gets 10, H gets 20, D gets 15. We need to remember the object name. What is the object name? My box 1's dimensions are these 10, 20, 15. My box 2's dimensions are 3, 6 and 9. So right now I am trying to set dimension for my box 1, that is 10, 20 and 15. Now my box 1's width gets value 10, my box 1's height gets 20 and depth gets 15. So W, H and D are these variables created just to hold the past values. Height, width, height and depth are the actual members of your class box. Very similarly, now in line number 35, my box 2 dot set dim. Using my box 2 object, you are going to set dimensions for the second object, right? 3, 6 and 9. So once again you are passing 3, 6 and 9 here. Okay, W gets 3, H gets 6 and D gets 9. My box 2 dot set dimension. My box 2's width, height and depth gets the value 3, 6 and 9, my dear friends. Now dimensions are set for my box 1 and my box 2. Now we are going to calculate the volume. So we call the volume on my box 1 dot volume, my box 2 dot volume. It's going to calculate the value and then it's going to return us the value, and then we are going to print it. So that's the last task left here. So in the line number 37, as you can concentrate here, my box 1 dot volume. See, by the time we reach line number 37, we have already set dimensions for my box 1. So my box 1 dot volume means, so now volume of the my box 1 is to be calculated, that is 10 into 20 into 15. Where is that? Here. 10 into 20 into 15 happens, the 3000 value, the same 3000 value is being returned here. That returned value is stored in VOL volume is a variable, my dear friends. Variable tends to change throughout the program. You can assign value to its any number of times, right? So the same vol variable is being used to hold the volume. The volume is being displayed here. Volume of my box 1 is, so with this message the 3000 is displayed, and then that's how we display the volume of first object. Similarly, we are going to do my box 2 dot volume. My box 2 object name, volume is the method name. So here once again we are going to multiply 3, 6 and 9. Why 3, 6 and 9? Because my box 2's dimensions are 3, 6 and 9. So here you are going to multiply 3, 6 and 9, and volume is set to 3 into 6 into 9, that is, what was that value? 162 as per our last example. Let's check. 162. So my dear friends, so in this video we have tried to explain the class concept slowly and steadily within the 5 examples. I have tried to explain you the box and the class which is used to play with that box. So concentrate, my dear friends. In the last all the 5 examples, concept being described is box that is kept in separate class, and the class using which I am trying to set dimensions or multiply or calculate its volume, that is kept in another class. So this is just the beginning of this particular Java classes. Hope you have understood this. If you are unable to follow any kind of concept, please leave the comments, please like the video, and if you have liked all my videos, please do subscribe for the video. And once again we will continue with the constructors of this particular class concept. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy.